for-profit business to get cited in a place like Denver. So if we can help provide more incentives, certainly EPRs out there. I know it's controversial, but I think there's incentives that can be brought to bear as well. Certainly voluntary commitments on the corporate level, as all of you have talked about, which I think is fantastic, and hats off to all of your organizations for those commitments. But that's what's going to allow the profitability to get kind of liberated from, being pegged to virgin material pricing, and help the recycling sector develop more circular economies. It also, I think, will help inspire more manufacturing that consumes recycled content. So if there's incentives available, someone who might never have thought about using, recycled glass in a process, for example, might now consider doing so. And so maybe we add a third or a fourth customer, and we can help, further drive the recycling circle in the state. So again, governments have the opportunity to help set the table here. State, local, the work that we do here in this organization, Recycle Colorado, is really important. One of my favorite things to do in this organization is to be involved in the policy activities, whether it's speaking on, during legislative sessions on bills like SB 55 that was passed. I spoke at the Arvada Council meeting. I mean, I'd love to get involved in stuff like that, because it's what it's going to take to drive that increased circularity and attract more of it to the state. Next slide. I think that's about it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's enough. I can stop there. Thanks.
Thanks, John. A couple of questions that have come up for you. You mentioned incentives. Can you give some examples?
I mean, sure. If there was a tax credit that could be claimed for using a certain percentage of recycled content, for example, maybe that's an income tax credit that a corporation could aspire to. Perhaps there's some property tax incentives as well for using more recycled content in the product. There's a range of tools, all traditional economic development tools that could be brought to bear. So it doesn't have to be all, stick. There could be carrots out there too to help companies drive these policies.
Okay, thanks. And then the next question is, what can Colorado do to help processors and end users face the challenges you did in starting up?
That's a great question. Well, certainly the startup of a new industrial facility, processing or manufacturing, is the most expensive time. It's the riskiest time. You've laid out the most in cash for all this brand new fancy equipment. The startup process itself, you don't just turn it on and go. There's a serious break-in period, and when you make some silly mistakes like we did, the break-in period's a little longer than you'd like it to be. It's expensive. And taxes are very expensive early on, especially property taxes. The business personal property tax issue has been a big one for us, as we're in the early stages of a new venture, trying to get it off the ground and profitable. That equipment has the most economic value. It's new, and so its tax rates at the very highest. So those tax dollars are large. So there's some. And frankly, that was a big part for me of the SB 55 that passed, was the potential to see some relief in the form of business personal property tax for processors and manufacturers that are diving into the recycling sector. So those are some of the examples. I'm sure as an organization, we got a lot of smart people that work in this in Recycle Colorado that volunteer their time. And I know between all of us, we can come up with some great ideas.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, John. There is a question from Vanessa, but I'm going to leave that till the end because I want to ask that of all the panelists. So if we can go to Ron next. So Ron's, if you'll dive in with your intro and your presentation.
Awesome. Hi, Ron Basak-Smith. Excited to be here today. Everyone's having a good day. So I am the CEO and co-founder of Sana Packaging. And the most important thing I want to just point out in the intro is that, worked in the liquor industry for 4 years. saw that, really excited to see Molson, Coors, and Ball working on solutions for that industry. But the reason I started Sana Packaging was really from that experience and seeing a new industry, that being cannabis industry, evolving the same way, and going to have a ton of single-use materials with some of its own unique aspects. So I can jump in now and kind of talk about the company and what we do. So Sana Packaging is a cannabis packaging company. Our main goal is designing packaging for a circular economy for that industry. And